Welcome to my broken thoughts. I am Rob the Many. So your UFC 190 recap. Ronda Rousey versus Correia for the UFC Bantamweight Women's Championship was tonight. Rousey won in 34 seconds. She came out. There was no gloves touched. It looked like she wanted to make this into a brawl, which most experts would say would favor Betch. But Rousey hit her early, hit her often. Correia did throw a couple shots back. Didn't seem to phase her as much as the Rousey punches were phasing Correia. Then, Rousey pushed forward and kind of pushed Correia down, which she rolled backwards. From there, the fight was pretty much over. She did go for a judo throw somewhere in this melee. Betch did successfully defend that, which was interesting. I think that's one of the very few times I've seen somebody actually do that. But it didn't matter. They were close to the cage. Rousey was getting the better of an exchange, stunned Correia, then hit her with a 1-2 combo. The first combo kind of had her reeling, and she kind of changed her posture, was trying to duck away, and that's when the second of the 1-2 punch came in and hit her right dead square in the temple. She went out instantly flat to the ground, cold. At that point, Big John stopped the fight. Like I said, in 34 seconds, another quick title defense for Rousey. She displayed the hand practicing that she's been doing, the boxing training that she's been doing. Her striking seemed sharp. She did eat some damage. Her face was a little red and puffy post the fight, but all things considered that she went into her opponent's best way to win and dominate her, just proves that Rousey now might have a really good argument of being just happens to be the best women's champ right now, but I think she might be the best all around in any weight class. I really, if I was Miesha Tate and I saw tonight's fight, I would pretty much cry, because Tate has really worked on developing her power for an eventual rematch with Rousey. And after seeing tonight, Rousey's stand-up game is a little bit better than I think where I thought that it would be, and but we still haven't seen Rousey's chin get tested. She's never really taken a really solid shot. The few solid shots I've seen her take, she ran from. So tonight, though, she ran through them. She ate them all and kept coming forward. So she was definitely motivated by all the stuff that Correia said. Would have liked to seen her get a few more shots undefended into Correia. Just, the even score. But I can understand that not being allowed. Shogun Rua versus Minotauro Nogueira. Okay, Little Nog. This is a semi-main event. It was an okay match. It was more entertaining than some of the rest of the card. But at this point, most of the casual UFC fans just wanted to see the main event, which was a common theme. And there was a big flurry to kind of end round one. That was kind of like the first action people have seen in at least 2 fights. And then they went into round 3, in my opinion, pretty even. I saw a lot of MMA experts saying that the fight was tied going into the 3rd round. Who dominated, won the 3rd round. I thought, not by domination, but I thought he had the better round. None of the judges really agreed with any of the experts. They saw it as a unanimous decision, 29-28 across the board for Shogun. So I would say Little Nog is done. History. he could go ahead and retire. Shogun probably won't be too far behind him. He won, but before that was Bruno versus Franca, which was Brazil Ultimate Fighter final, and Franca won, and towards the end of the third round with a choke. This was a really boring fight, the most boring fight I've seen in a long time. It's no fault of their own. I know that there was a lot of jiu-jitsu fight for position during this fight, and I know a lot of hardcore MMA fans find that kind of stuff interesting. It's not very visually stimulating. I understand there's things going on, but I just don't care. And this fight single-handedly almost killed UFC 190 Twitter handle. It went radio silent. If it wasn't radio silent, people were complaining about the length of the card, tweeting pretty funny memes. It was at this point where I think the revolt of the length of the card was in full revolt, and it deserved it because it was really piss poor fight. Before that was another Ultimate Fighter finale for, again, Brazil. It was Delano Lopez versus Reginaldo Vieira. I think that's how it's pronounced. These two came out like men on fire. I mean, they were throwing everything that but to kitchen sink at each other, and they did it within seconds of the fight starting. I mean, it was just a flurry of punches. I mean, they were coming so fast you could barely see them being exchanged, and both were kind of eating punches, but nobody really seemed to blink. Then each man tried their hand at, I guess, their go-to, the guillotine, because Rogan made sure to pound that into your head on commentary. Neither man was successful. And then from there, Rogan made the point that in all likelihood probably gassed him out. They probably wouldn't try for many more going forward. Each man tried at different points to slap a guillotine on, but again, it wasn't successful. After the first try, pretty much burned your arms out. Plus, these guys were punching for the remainder of the fight, so even if they really wanted to test somebody out with a guillotine, they probably couldn't have. But it was a really entertaining fight. I mean, the whole way through. The second round, the pace slowed down substantially, but it was still a great fight. I felt like it was pretty. It was again going into the third round, even. I felt like Vieira won round 2. I felt like Lopez won round 1. I felt like whoever won round 3 would be the winner. I felt Lopez won the third round, but it was a really close fight to call. I mean, no one person I saw from my feed had identical picks. I mean, the scoreboards were all over the place. Judges saw it differently, though. It went to the judges' scorecards. It was 29-28, 30-27, 30-27 by unanimous decision for Vieira. I really don't understand how it could be 30-27. I thought this was at best going to be a split decision, and I was not going to be surprised to see a majority draw. But I guess the judges really wanted to see a finish, and they saw things going a little differently. I didn't really see a great explanation by any experts about this scorecard. Before that was number 15th ranked Stefan Struve versus Minotauro Nogueira, aka Big Nog. Struve is coming off of missing a fight due to a health illness. He's going up against a longtime veteran. Nog kind of came out with a game plan of dragging this fight into the mud and using the clinch up against the cage to kind of try to wear down Struve. And Struve's game plan was to try to establish his reach with jabs, front kicks, etc. Um, I felt like none of his offense was really with a lot of effort. I felt like he was kind of taking it easy on Big Nug in many places during this fight. This fight was another tedious watch. Um, the pace was a little slow, and at one point, Big Nug basically had nothing left. He basically gassed himself out, and then was kind of loopy, and many Twitter followers kind of compared him to a zombie on Walking Dead. At one point, he was basically just walking through solid jab after solid jab towards Struve with his hands completely down his side. And Struve wasn't able to knock him out. I mean, I don't understand how you could be a heavyweight and knock somebody out when they're not even defending coherently. But he wasn't able to. Struve really needs this victory, so I guess congratulations, but he didn't impress me very much. I think you're one of the, you're ranked 15th in the heavyweight division. I think you would get beat by everybody ranked above you, and I'm pretty sure there's quite a few people lower ranked than you that could probably beat you. I'm pretty sure if a random football player happened to be in the heavyweight division, walked off the street, could probably beat you. You're awful. You haven't. You really still don't learn about like how to use your size. I guess God really wasted his time with you because you have no fundamental understanding of how to use your size. You have really no manhood to you at all. Um, yeah, you should be able to knock pretty much anybody out in the division, and you couldn't even knock an old man out and save him from getting absolutely destroyed with your crappy jabs and your crappy front kicks that weren't really doing anything. Really not quite sure until the round 3 like what you were doing really that much to damage him. It wasn't until like he was basically letting you hit him that you really did any damage whatsoever. I can't wait to see you released. I think you're garbage, and I hope nobody picks you up because you're really not worth it. But for now, you'll be around for at least another 6 months. Congratulations. Another fight, Antonio Silva, aka Bigfoot, versus, I'm going to try to pronounce this. I'm going to get it wrong. I don't fucking care. Sao Pelea. It was a shitty fight. Again, two big heavyweights. One way past his prime. The other, I've been watching some back pay-per-views of UFC on the stream for UFC TV, and I've never heard of them. So that goes to tell you like what's going on here. Sal though did hit a hip toss in round 1, and then he hits a really good ground and pound. So he definitely took round 1. And Silva came out and caught Sal with a couple of punches pretty early in the round, and as soon as Sal took any bit of his power, he didn't want any part. But Silva was able to hit him with a real good shot, get him down, and do some nice ground and pound to win 41 seconds in round 2. But again, despite this only going to barely 2 rounds, the first round was kind of a tedious watch, slow pace, and was one of the other fights that weren't so great. The first fight though of the main card was pretty good. Claudia Cotelha versus Jessica Aguilar in the strawweight division here. Basically, Claudia just beat the ever-loving shit out of Jessica in every way, shape, and form. One of the most dominant performances of the night. It wasn't even close. It basically sets up an inevitable matchup with Joanna Jędrzejczyk because they're basically, from the performance tonight and from some of the other performances of the two, I think they're very clearly head and shoulders above the rest of the division as we wait to see like what the rest of the women are made of. But in the meantime, these two, I think, are on an inevitable collision as soon as Claudia's able to. She even called her out post-fight. So I think that's inevitable. I also want to add a postscript to the Struve fight. Struve did admit that he got sick again prior to this fight. So that's 2 fights in a row where he's had a health issue. So another good reason for UFC to cut him. If I was them, you know. Like I said, the main card was a thumbs down. For basically it was a 1-match card. And then you got one surprise in the middle, which was Lopez versus Vieira. Other than that, there really wasn't much to see here. Probably the most skippable pay-per-view in the history of mankind. You could watch the Rousey and Correia fight on YouTube. There's many videos of the 34 seconds it took for Rousey to win. So there's really no need to buy this pay-per-view after the fact. It's going to be interesting to see if Tate has any hope at all, which she doesn't. She will get beat, and she'll just be forced to be the second best. And she'll run through everybody that they put her up against, and I guess she'll just always be number 2 because I really don't see anybody who's anywhere close to Tate, and Tate's nowhere close to Rousey. And so I guess we're just gonna be doomed to see that repeat every year, basically, maybe 2 years. Because Tate will have to string 2 or 3 victories in a row, depending on how hard she is from each fight. She could theoretically do that in less than 2 years. And Rousey fights pretty often as well. She could probably be ready in another 2 years, after a couple fights away from Tate. So we might even get a 4th one, because there's really nobody that could beat these 2 women, except, and I really feel bad for Tate. I feel like if she came along at any other time, she would beat Rousey. Nobody would be able to beat her. She'd be getting all the praise, and instead she kind of treated unfairly, in my opinion. She's one of the better fighters in the world. She's definitely on my top 10 pound for pound, but she just happens to be in the same division as Rousey. I would say Rousey's now passing Money Mouse is the most dominant champion in their weight class. Nobody can really hold a candle to Mighty Mouse either. They're very similar, except that Rousey can actually finish her opponents, where Mighty Mouse often has to go to the judges to win. That's why I would lean in her favor. But like I said, guys, I'm sorry to be a downer. I hate to talk shit on stuff. I like to be positive when it comes to MMA. But I got to be honest. If I would have, if I was you and I had to spend $50, would that be a good investment? Not tonight. It wasn't. It was a very skippable event, and for all the hubbub and stuff like that, the main event again went short. So I mean, if that's what you paid for, if you paid $50 for a 34-second fight, good for you. But I just don't think this UFC 190 was worth very much at all. I am really looking forward to UFC 191. The card looks really good. I'm really excited for it. I hope that maybe we'll get something close to 189 after this, but we got a ways to go before that really happens. We got a couple fight nights, so I'll be talking about those coming up. Might do the prelims if I get a chance. If I don't, I do apologize. Most people, if they really care about seeing a video of a guy talking about MMA, are going to want to talk, see about Rousey, and they're probably not going to care about the prelims. And I'm kind of tired. I've been watching MMA since about 6 p.m. It's now like 6:44 in the morning. So, yeah. I don't know if I'm going to do the prelims, but I want to thank you all for watching my video. This is Rob Domini. This has been my broken thoughts on the UFC 190 pay-per-view. Stay tuned, and please do me a favor, click subscribe and share it across all platforms to try to get the word out about the show. I really appreciate it. You guys take care.